orange you're on.
My job, yeah. Hey, Allie, look at this over.
Call the meeting to order. Item A, it's called meeting order. Item B, roll call and record names of members present.
Here.
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 Would you please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? I am going to ask Miss Allie McKee to step forward and lead us in our Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. You may be seated. I am going to, board, with your permission, I'm going to go straight to E. We have several student groups that we are presenting tonight. Mr. Doss. Thank you, sir.
Cooper. Okay, this year Oologah High School is pleased to announce the naming of 3 valedictorians of the class of 2025. We have Taz Cagle, who has attended Oologah-Talala Public Schools for 6 years. Taz is a 4-year starter and working. A varsity letter winner in soccer and a member of FCCLA. After high school, Taz will be attending the Naval Academy. Katie Newton has attended Oologah-Talala Public Schools for 13 years. Katie has been involved in yearbook, leadership, and National Honor Society. After graduation, Katie will be attending Oklahoma State University to pursue a nutritional sciences degree. And Cooper Puggett has attended Oologah-Talala Public Schools for 14 years. Cooper has been involved in STUCO, yearbook, Native American Club, and National Honor Society. After graduating, Cooper will be attending New York University to pursue a music business major. So thank you guys very much for all your hard work. We appreciate you.
Congratulations. Come here, guys. We're going to take a picture right here.
So, Oologah FA, we've had a pretty blessed year. Just a couple things and highlights that we've had throughout the year that we've been able to recognize at state convention. We crowned 11 state championships in agri-science, which resulted in 17 kids coming home with a state championship, as well as 15 projects that were state runner-ups in the agri-science fair. That brought us home this really cool large trophy that would be considered us to be the agri-science sweepstakes. We also had a state champion proficiency award in Liberty Miser, and then we had 2 state runner-ups in proficiencies, as well as 3 state second runner-ups in proficiency awards as well. We crowned a individual to receiving a full scholarship to the WLC trip in Washington, D.C. this summer, as well as an individual who received a full scholarship to attend the future Ag Ed Academy to eventually go on and be an ag teacher. And then one that we're super excited about as well. We were named Oklahoma's most outstanding Ag Ed chapter this year as well at the State FFA Convention. So these are this is a group of our state champions that were able to help us come home with this trophy. We have Brooklyn Ryan. She was the state winner in the Animal Systems division. Carson Freeman in the Power Structural division. Zane in Animal Systems. Bowden in Power Structural. And then he received an $800 scholarship through Oil and Gas division. Allie in Animal Systems. Environmental, right? Animal Systems. Yeah, food products and processing, and then social systems, and then animal systems as well. So we had a really good year this year. I'm super proud to be one of their teachers, and I know Ms. Smith is as well.
Let's get some pictures.
We're going to go stand back there.
We'll stay here. You
Okay.
guys stay down there. So. Can somebody take one for me?
Hold on. Sorry, this drives me crazy.
Hey, was that you? I sprayed the gas yesterday, or was it probably her? I apologize. Good job, guys.
Thank you. All right, you're good.
You can leave that with something. Yeah, that's good. Best dressed. You got this, John? Mr. Jazz Band. The Honorable. Hey, Dave, if you'll talk into, like, at that mic right there.
Okay.
Yeah, just talk at it.
Sounds good.
I like the shirt.
I brought a bunch of them, so. Come on, we're going to have to double up here, kids, or something. Yeah. All right, so here before you is the back-to-back state champion Oologah Jazz Ensemble. So yeah, fold out the banner so people can see that. And then we got a neat little banner there and a little plaque. This was a very successful group. Obviously, this year we coming out like this, but we started in August playing jazz. So every time we did anything, the kids just kept getting better and better. Whether it was preparing for auditions, basketball games, then on into the jazz season, I don't know, they've had superior ratings for a number of years now. So maybe going on five years in a row, like every contest we go to, pretty much. So. I couldn't be more proud of them to be, to win a state team state championship is a big deal, and to do it 2 times in a row shows how much these kids really work hard, and I'm really proud of them. So that's what I got. Yeah, I mean, I guess I can say their names here if I don't want to miss anybody. Nick Broderick, Kyler Jensen, Ariana Williams, Drew Ross, Aubrey Mills, Nolan Smith, Gabe Lara. You can kind of wave your hands. So no, Ethan Kabbalah, Eli McElroy, Cooper Fleegee. Judson Mills, okay, and Gabrielle Quimby, and Allison Fuson, and then we have Lila Oliphant, Darby Taylor, Isaiah List, Kyle Roberts. All right, and then Damon Rubidoux, and then Aspen O'Banion. Okay?
Guys are seniors. If you're senior, raise your hand. That's awesome. The seniors have actually won 3 state titles out of 4 years.
Yeah.
Because they won one as a freshman too.
Yep.
And Dave Smith, this is his 8th state championship.
Thank you.
All right, somebody take a picture. You got everybody in? Item A, this month at OTPS. Okay, let's see if we can get this going. Autoplay? Very much. You can go. Awesome. A lot of great stuff. Strong finish to the year. All right, item B is to recognize and hear from visitors. Do I have anyone signed in?
Yes.
Okay. Before we go any further, I need to read a statement regarding our policy and how we engage in public participation. Residents and employees of Oologah-Talala School District are welcome to address the school board on matters related to education, school policies, or school operations. Those wishing to speak must sign in with their name, address, and topic on the sheet provided inside the boardroom. To ensure the board completes its scheduled agenda, public comments will be limited to a single participation period of up to 15 minutes per meeting. Each speaker is allowed a maximum of 5 minutes. The superintendent will manage the timer and notify the board and speaker when the time is up. The board may vote to extend public comment period by majority of vote. Please note that board members and administrative staff will not respond to questions during the meeting. And who's my first? Jason, when I ask you to step at that mic, Doc, if you could just turn that to where it could pick him up, that'd be great. Just kind of talk at it. You don't have to lean down into it, but if you'll just talk at it.
Check it 1, 2.
Yeah, check that mic.
All right, if you all don't know me, my name is Jason Cagle. I've been a Chief Information Officer for community health centers and integrated healthcare centers for about the last 15 years. I used to cover all of northern Oklahoma. Now I've stretched out to cover central Illinois as well. The reason why I came here to talk tonight was as both the Chief Information Officer and a parent of 2 young men that went through Oologah High School. I've had the unique privilege of seeing the impact of strong leadership here. And that's what I want to talk about. I want to talk about the leadership here, both professionally and personally. In my work at a CCBHC, I place a high value on inclusive, trauma-informed environments, and where every student has the opportunity to succeed. And I can tell you, without hesitation, that the thing I want to talk about tonight is our principal himself, Kevin Hogue, and he embodies those values in every single day that I meet with him. So Kevin Hogue doesn't just manage a school; he leads a community. He creates a place where students feel safe, supported, and challenged. A place where every child, no matter their background, is seen, heard, and empowered. That kind of leadership's rare. Being a CIO, I had the opportunity to step into almost every school in the state and speak with their principals, look at their academics, to look at the data analytics around what happens to those students during school, after school, where did they go afterwards. And In the years that Kevin has been here, we've continued to move forward on the success.
Excuse me, Mr. Chairman.
Yep.
I'd like a point of order. I want to just keep it consistent. Has it not been true in the past? We cannot use names.
We cannot use names.
I'm sorry, I pardon
Oh,
the
no.
interruption. I'm not trying to interrupt you. but
Absolutely, no
I
problem.
want to keep
Thank
it
you.
consistent with all the time we've done before.
Thanks, Mr. Blake.
Let me pause you while you're there. Kendra, how many speakers do I have?
Potentially, is Greg Garcia? He will be. Two.
I'll keep it brief.
Thank you.
Absolutely. So our principal has shown unwavering dedication to the academic success and emotional well-being of his students. His leadership has driven meaningful progress at Oologah, strengthening academic performance, expanding curriculum offerings, and cultivating a culture where excellence is expected and encouraged. Under his guidance, the school has embraced innovative teaching strategies and created opportunities that uplift both students and staff. The results of dedication to our school and the community are clear. My sons, my sons have thrived here, not just on the field, but more importantly in the classroom. They both scored at the top of their ACT peer groups. One now attends the Naval Academy, and the second one's about to join this summer. Their friends and classmates, Oologah graduates, are scoring high above the national averages and heading towards bright futures as well. I can say with confidence that their achievements were made possible in large part by the learning environment and the leadership that the principal has built. Separately, when the school needs one to step in, whether it's covering a class, mentoring a student, or filling a gap, he shows up. Every time. That level of commitment is extraordinary and deserves to be recognized. The principal's impact goes beyond academics. What truly sets him apart is his deep personal investment in the lives of his students. He knows their names and he knows their families. He listens, and in a world where young people face increasing challenges, that level of personal connection and presence is invaluable. His open door policy has fostered a culture of trust through student support programs, mental health initiatives, and unwavering commitment to kindness and inclusion. He has made Oologah a place where students feel safe, respected, and cared for. The principal exemplifies the very best of educational leadership. He inspires excellence, leads with empathy, and leaves a lasting mark not just on his students, but on the families and the broader community. Tonight I stand before you with just a simple message. Let's celebrate the principal. Let's support his efforts. Let's continue to recognize the kind of leadership that is helping create a brighter future for our children. For our principal is more than an administrator. He is a champion for student well-being, a strong supporter of his staff, and a true partner to families in the community. His impact reaches far beyond the walls of this school. He doesn't deserve to just be acknowledged, but he deserves our full recognition and ongoing support. Thank you very much for your time.
You said there's potentially three.
Is Greg Garcia?
Okay,
So-
and just to be clear, if you signed in for him and he's not here when I close this time, he will not be allowed to speak. So if he's not close enough to get here, you need to know that. Because once we're done with this, we will move on. I'm not,
Well, Martina is not here.
so who signed in then?
She signed in, but it says she's not here.
So Greg said that he's at the volleyball meeting for school, and
So I have no other speakers?
I tell him not to go.
Okay.
Good evening. I'm Kelly McElroy, and I'm the FACS teacher at Oologah High School. And I'm here to just brag on a few people in my building. I can't use names, but the athletic director's secretary has been doing an amazing job. She has been filling dual roles in the absence of our principal secretary. She's been overseeing all of the finances at the high school, as well as organizing substitutes on top of all of her regular assignments. And she just really deserves to be commended for her hard work and for keeping everything balanced, all while bouncing between two offices, working on two computers. She's just done a really tremendous job. And she's kept me sane. I'm also here to speak on behalf of another person in our high school Mustang family. This person has taken on multiple roles this semester, stepped up as assistant principal in the absence of our assistant principal, worked tirelessly without a secretary, stepped in as an English teacher in the absence of an English teacher when our substitute was unexpectedly fallen ill and had to step down. He's been teaching novels, giving and grading senior quizzes, recording senior grades, all while balancing the daily duties of being a head principal, all while maintaining a positive attitude, serving his staff, and showing appreciation to us daily. He's been planning end-of-the-year activities and, most importantly, providing his teachers, staff, and the student body with continuous encouragement. I have never worked in a more positive and encouraging environment than the environment that I am currently working in at Oologah High School. It was with great disappointment that my principal was not permitted to be the one to announce all of the state champions that were recognized this evening, one of them being one of my sons. He has been to these competitions, he has built these relationships with these amazing students, and they deserve to be recognized by him tonight. He is who has created the atmosphere in the high school that has challenged teachers like me to have a desire to work hard to foster hearts of champions in our students, and you could see all of those. He should have been the individual to recognize them tonight. My son, two-time Jazz State champion, would have loved and felt more honored tonight having been recognized by him, who knows and values him as a role model, also Mr. Smith. It's also greatly disappointing that our new assistant principal is not getting a proper recognition and an Oologah Mustang family welcome from our principal. He dedicated time and effort to find and hire the woman that he knew would be best for this position. So welcome, Ms. Jernigan. We're so glad to have you. When I came back to teaching after 10 years off as a stay-at-home mom, I came back not for the money or because I had to have a job. I came back because I knew what kind of man I would be working for, someone who was transparent and wants what's best for students. I have now tested into 2 different certification areas because of his faith and belief that I could be and do more in my career. I have found a new passion in teaching that I would have never experienced before because he knew I would thrive in facts, and he encouraged my step in that new direction. I come to work every day with a joyful heart daily because of who I work for and the positive environment that he and our assistant principal have fostered in the last 3 years in our building. Many of you are unaware of all these daily roles that he's taken on this semester, and I just wanted to take a moment to give him a shout out like he does for us at our monthly staff meetings when he sees us showing up daily and doing what's best for our students. He deserves to be shouted out and commended for his hard work and dedication to our faculty, our staff, and our students. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Is there anyone else? Okay. Board, moving on. Item C is treasurer's report.
If you look,
Your mic on.
first page is treasurer's report. It's a little ways in. Just looking at the bottom line, kind of where we are at the end of this month, this year. Looking at our OLAP account, we had started the month with 6.2 million. We added in another million. Just again, the investment. It's a good time to be investing money. And our payrolls, we still are a little ways out from our payrolls, so we pushed as much as we can over to the investment side. We're making halfway decent money off of that, so it's been going really well. End of the month with 7.2 million in the investment account. Our totals, as you can see, we started out with 8.4 million, ended with 10.4 million, which is down though about 800,000 from last year, which is kind of the concerning piece that we will keep looking at as we move into this next fiscal year. We've done a lot of moving and a lot of redesigning and a lot of other things to mitigate some of those numbers as we go through next year. So we're confident that things will go well as we move forward. That's all I got.
Board, any questions? Okay. Item D, director's report. Okay, no item D. Okay. Item F is our assistant superintendent's report.
We'll start with this. Mrs. Noble and I have put together for you guys well, you saw this last year. I know you've seen a lot of things, but it's our district assessment outline. And so what we did was we took a couple of documents that you have seen, which outlines all of the assessments that we give, and there are many that have to be given throughout the year, and we put it into one document so you could kind of get an idea of the scope and sequence of those assessments. So I'm going to just talk about a small part of it, and then I'm going to let the real expert talk about the rest of it. The one thing I wanted to point out to you on the page 2 and 3 is our district testing calendar. Huge props to Ms. Steffenbaugh, who has created this format for the high school. She started with it there because, as you know, at the high school, they are assessing constantly. There are constant assessments being given. And Mrs. Steffenbaugh, who you've met, she's been here before. She is our district test coordinator, so she manages not only those assessments, but the majority of assessments that are given all over the district. So she had created this format for the high school, and we kind of stole it and modified it for the district so you can kind of see on a month-by-month basis what assessment is being given. These are our dates for next year, and we have made all 4 principals promise on their lives that we will not change these dates, because when they start getting changed, it gets a little bit messy. But these are the planned dates for next year for all of our assessments, and this meets all of our state-required assessments, which, as you know, there are many, but also the ones that we choose to give in our district, such as the pre-ACT, which has been a hugely positive thing since you approved that a couple of years ago. So you can kind of get a look at that. You'll see on the second, I guess it's page 3, all the dates in yellow are dates we're waiting for from the state. So most of those are high school tests, they are ACTs, they are the end of the course assessments that they take, and we don't have those dates yet. But those will be filled in, and we'll kind of keep you up to date on that as well. And then Snow will talk about the rest.
So the rest of this document just outlines what assessments we give at each grade level, because obviously it varies. The needs of assessments vary from pre-K versus what they need at the high school. So you can see at every grade level what assessment we use, and these are just the really overall big picture assessments that they use in the buildings to drive their instruction and to drive the direction. You can kind of look through, it will tell you how we use the results. We think it's really important to make sure whatever data we're getting, we're using. We're not just giving an assessment just to give an assessment. So as you look through, you'll see how we use the data from that assessment, how we share those results, whether it's to parents through conferences or whether it's administration sitting down and look at them and reviewing them or sharing them with you. You can kind of look through and see what it looks like at every grade level. If you really did look at it, we don't give extra assessments. We're really giving just what we need to have data to drive the ship, to drive instruction for teachers, but also to make sure what we're doing, right, is we're heading in the right direction. So you can kind of look through there and see. Do you have any questions about it?
Is anything on here new, or is this?
No, we've been pretty much, NWA has been at the elementaries for a long time. Middle school just started back into NWA this year. They had kind of moved away from it, but then decided that they wanted to go back to it. So that is new for them this year to get back into. And our principals are going to be sharing those results from their assessments data over the next few months. They're going to be coming in and sharing with you like just the actual data of their building. But we just wanted to give you kind of an overview of what assessment looks like within the district.
I'm really proud of the middle school and coming back in this year and taking NWEA back on, because they really didn't have anything that gave any kind of really consistent data, and not just within the year, but from year to year. And I know that was, they had been doing NWEA before, they'd stepped away for a little while, and Ms. Dixon and her teachers really had that desire to know where their kids are, know how they were performing, not just for the sake of having a score, but also how can we serve them better, and what can we do more for them to meet the needs that they have, and to accelerate the ones who are doing really well. So that's a big thing to take on a new assessment, especially when you're not replacing one, and you're adding something. But I think that they have found a lot of value in it. Their scores, which, as Ms. Noble said, we'll have one principal coming a month for the next few months to present their own data to you rather than us presenting it. And I think you'll be very, very pleased when you see all of them, but specifically the middle school, who we've not had great data on for a few years. So they've done very well. They've worked very hard. All 4 sites have. So in the world of federal programs, we're chugging along. Thank you. With federal programs, money's coming in. Sometimes not as fast as we want it to, but we're getting claims turned in, and we'll be starting closeouts with that in the next month, 6 weeks. We'll be starting some of those. We're finishing up some of the final things with our school security money, some more doors, being able to replace, and that kind of thing. So that's really exciting. And for professional development, I know I promised you that you would have a schedule for August today, but you'll have it next month because we're finalizing a few things. With only having the 2 days, it's really tricky. And I appreciate the fact that we have more days spread out throughout the year, but trying to fit everything that everybody wants into 2 days is a little bit challenging. So we're having to get a little creative. The upper's having to get a little bit creative. We're having to move a few things around just to make sure that we continue down the really, really good path that we're on of providing teachers with professional development that they've asked for, that their leader has asked for, that's meaningful to them, that's personalized to the needs of their building, rather than just kind of putting everybody in the auditorium with here's what you get. So that just takes a little bit more scheduling than the other way around, but you'll have it next month, guaranteed.
Back to the federal fund. Do we have an issue with the federal programs or anything like that?
No, no issues. It's just kind of slow. Yeah, no issues. Everything we fit through gets approved. We don't have, it just doesn't move as fast as we would like it to sometimes. Caleb and I check it on a pretty much daily basis. Like, they get approved quickly. It just takes a little bit of time for the money to actually get here, so. Any other questions?
Title IX while you're there.
Title IX, going great.
Great.
Totally compliant.
Great. Board, I apologize. I need a 3-minute recess. If I could get someone to make that motion.
Make a motion that we take a 3-minute recess.
Okay, vote please.
Yes.
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 The record show we are adjourned. We're in recess for 3 minutes. All right. Board, let's return. Dr. Wilkins, I apologize for the delay. Item H, our superintendent's report.
Okay, so a couple of things to talk about. We discussed a little bit last month about
Mike.
about the property formerly known as East Campus. Met with Mr. Peters. He's brought some information about kind of what the city is planning on doing with East Campus, and kind of passed this around, basically looking at some ball fields with some areas in the middle, and then some parking areas, and then like a little storage building or an athletic building kind of over here on the side. I'll pass that around. You can see that. Kind of the concern, I think, of the board was, is there a plan for the city to develop that property? He feels like they have a pretty solid plan moving forward, and kind of the things that will need to take place for that to be a good community resource. So bringing that to you guys, we can discuss this further. I know it's not an action item, but it's something that we can talk about a little bit, and then move from there. If we do proceed with this, what Mr. Peters and I talked about is that I'll have our attorney draft up a new agreement, kind of based off of the one that we had presented a couple of years ago, that will basically relinquish all rights and responsibilities of Oologah Schools to that property. It goes to the city permanently, and then it's in their care. What we don't want is 10 years from now is who really owns this, who keeps track of it. Well, there was a contract that kind of stuff. So we'll make sure that that's clean, whichever direction that the board decides that we want to go on that. So I was excited to have a good plan. I think it's something that'll really be good for all of our youth, and be good for the community. So it'd be nice to see that move forward. The OTPS Foundation, so credit Ms. Atkins for doing a whole lot of legwork on this over the past couple of years. Tony had started the process of trying to find the foundation again, kind of disappeared off of our radar for a few years. So we had our first foundation meeting just about an hour ago, and so Wes is now the president of that little group. We have a president and a treasurer, and a couple of little trustees, so we're gonna work our way through continuing to develop that out. There's a nice sum of money. We feel we'll be able to at very least do about $10,000 worth of teacher grants a year. We'll work over the summer to kind of pull all of the information together that we'll need to do to get those grants kind of viable and up and running for the fall. And we will either try to kind of split that and do some fall grants and some spring grants next year, or else just go ahead and push it and just do spring grants. Just kind of depends on how that board, kind of how we figure out where we want to go with that. So it's exciting. It'll be good for our teachers, so it's a good thing to get that moving in that direction from there. Bond issue update. Any questions about that, about foundation? Okay. Bond issue update. So got an email from the architect a couple of days ago. Kind of where they are with that is, so he's working right now to get pricing on the projects that we've presented, that the committee has presented to him. Obviously with the goal of what will happen then is he'll get prices on what all of the changes will be. Those will come back to us. We'll take that to the committee. If it's over or under, then we will adjust kind of the scope of what we're wanting to do for that bond issue. The kind of estimation that he and I had come up with, just kind of working through some things, is we were kind of spot on with the things that we wanted. But then we've kind of thrown a few other little things in there, so we'll kind of see how it all shakes out. Some of that may tie into the projects that we had. Some of them are additional. So we'll kind of see how it plays out. Last piece is the cell phone laws. You guys know we kind of enacted a new policy this past year that kind of limited our cell phones at the middle school, high school. Middle school, no cell phones throughout the day. High school, students were allowed to have cell phones at passing period and lunch, which we kind of put that together in conjunction with our teachers. Kind of the conversation was a lot of our teachers, they have to send messages through the kids throughout the day about, about with the coaches sending messages or, test reminders, those kinds of things. However, new law signed by Governor Stitt as of right now is saying that strict no cell phone from bell to bell, first bell to last bell, no cell phones in use at all levels. So we just kind of want to throw that on your radar. That's something that's coming. We'll get some policy ideas from OSSBA, and as soon as we get those in, I'll bring those back to the board and we can kind of discuss how we proceed with that. If it is since it is going into law, those policies will be pretty, I feel like they'll be pretty cut and dried, basically just to reflect what the law is stating. That's something that we'll have to deal with as we go into next year. And that's all I have.
Board, any questions? All right, section 3 is our consent agenda. These items may be approved by one board motion unless any board member desires to have a separate vote on any or all of these items. Included in the consent agenda is item A, discussion and consideration for approval of the minutes of the board meeting on April 14th, 2025. Item B, discussion and consideration for approval of the following warrants and encumbrances. General fund encumbrances 432 through 466. General fund warrants 3148 through 3548. Building fund encumbrances 101 through 104, and building fund warrants 343 to 410, and then sinking fund 41 encumbrance 3. Item C is discussion and consideration for approval of financial reports, including general fund, building bond fund, and activity fund. Item D, discussion and consideration for approval of following activity fund transfers 107 through 124. Item E, discussion and consideration for approval of the following fundraiser requests. Booster Club fundraisers for fiscal year 25, number 88. Activity fund fundraiser for fiscal year 25, number 232, and then activity fundraisers for fiscal year 26, number 1 through 220. Item F, discussion and consideration for the approval of following out-of-state and overnight field trips, Oologah High School girls golf to regionals in Kingfisher, Oklahoma, April 22nd through 23rd of 2025. Oologah High School track to state track meet in Ardmore, May the 9th through the 10th of 2025. Oologah High School and Oologah Middle School TSA to TSA officer training in Stillwater, April 17th and 18th of 2025. And Oologah High School baseball to regional tournament, staying in Fort Smith, Arkansas, May 1st through the 2nd, 2025. And Oologah High School band to Anaheim, California for Anaheim Heritage Festival, April 29th, 2025 through May 2nd, 2026. Don't have a right date. I mean, John's gonna be gone a year. We've got you listed from April 29th to 25th, all the way to May 2nd to 26th, so. You do it like, with Zoom. So that is for next April, correct? Okay, so board, make that note that it's from April 29th of 2026 through May 2nd of 2026, is that correct, John? Okay.
We can note that in the minutes.
Good.
Is it okay if John speaks about that
Yeah,
for just a
please do.
minute? I think this is a pretty big. You wanna talk about that, about your trip real quick?
Come to the mic if you don't mind, so, because all the adoring fans at home want to hear you speak.
Yeah. So one of the things we do is we like to try to go on an out-of-state overnight trip that really showcases our kiddos every other year. I go between a bowl game trip in the fall, which would be marching band, and then the 2 years after that, we'll do a spring trip that showcases our jazz band and concert bands. So that's the next on our rotation is that trip. We did this trip in 2018, a very similar trip. It cost a lot less in 2018. But I like to try to give my parents about a year to raise funds for this type of a trip. It's a considerable amount of money, and I know that, I recognize that. I had 2 kids in my own band program, so I understand what that costs. That's why I like to try to get it approved so far out. Obviously, there's some variables that could come up between now and then. If I get the deposit in soon, then we kind of lock in that pricing, which helps us out as well. So there will be a competition, as well as we're going to do a couple of workshops with the Disney people that actually are music producers at Disney as well. So that's going to be really exciting.
It's a great
Do you have any
trip. My
questions?
kids went, and I love the fact that some of the kids in our program, that may be the only time,
Right.
especially in their adolescence, that they get to go to.
Right. I mean, we're going to see the Grand Canyon on
Yeah.
the way back. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, no, John, those are fantastic trips.
Okay.
So whoever makes the motion on the consent agenda, just make sure in your motion that you include the date correction on that last item of April 29th of 2026.
Mr. Chairman, it's actually correct in the application.
Okay.
It's actually correct that what he
On the
did.
application, no,
Yes.
it's a typo on our part.
Yes.
Yep, so, okay. I would entertain a motion on the consent agenda. And if you want to pull something out, you can.
Move to approve item 3, consent agenda A through F.
Just want to clarify that the date for the trip is April 29th, 2026 through May 2nd. All right, further discussion? Hearing none, vote please.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
Consent agenda is approved. Thank you, board. Section 4 is administrative. Item A is recommendation, consideration, action on approving an agreement with Horizon Digitally Enhanced Campus for the 2025-2026 school year. Oh, Mr. Fisher.
Danny, can you talk, Horizon Digitally Enhanced Campus, can you talk to us about that real quick?
And if you could do it at that microphone that you provided for me, that'd be great.
Oh, okay, sorry.
So this is the program that we've used it for several years. It's by Ingenuity. Sorry, Lawrence, but Ingenuity runs through, and some of our alt-ed students use it as well.
Okay, entertain a motion on item A.
campus for the 25-26 school year.
Okay, motion is to approve. Is there further discussion? Vote please.
Yes.
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 Yes?
Yes.
While we're in the middle of all this, just leave them on for just a second. Turn those back on for just a second. Okay, thank you. Item B is recommendation, consideration, action on approving or not approving the contract with Southwest Food West Service Excellence LLC, 2025-2026 school year.
So, we've had some conversations with our food services people. We talked about a little bit about this last month. I don't feel like that we're real happy with SFE, with kind of what they've done. And we had some jumping off issues at the beginning of when we brought them on. Has it been 2 years ago, maybe? And so things have been okay. I don't think that they've been great. I feel like Laura and Monica have done a really good job of of really trying to get our food service program moving in the right direction. We've met with them several times over the past several months, and kind of through those meetings and conversations, we feel like that we would be able to basically not renew our contract with SFE, let the school take back over our child nutrition program, let Laura run that as our food services director, kind of in the same role that she's in now, that we could have a better product for the same amount of money. I know that those ladies work really hard. We've met with our tech people about a program that they can use to track all the things, which is one of the benefits of having SFE. They've got a really good kind of computer program that tracks all of our food, all of our expenditures, all of our costs and everything. And so they have put together a transition timeline. If we do go away from SFE, here's the actual contract that we have with SFE, if you guys want to review that. So I'm open to any questions or thoughts that you may have.
We talked about this last time, didn't we?
Yes, sir.
That we thought we could save some money doing this. Is that still
Yes.
correct? We're looking at that we might save money.
Yes, and at very least, have a much better product for the same amount of money, at very least. But Laura thinks that we could save about $40,000, kind of us sitting down looking at the money, we could save probably about $40,000. Same product or better. And I say product as in the meals we serve our kids.
Current contract expires
June 30th.
June 30th, and if we take no action, it just expires.
Correct. However, SFE is asking for our renewal. I've had, Laura has kind of put them off a little bit, saying we're waiting on the board meeting.
Do we have any price comparisons as to what it might cost us and what it would cost? Is it in here? Other than just $40,000, is that a year, I'm assuming?
A year, correct. To be honest, I think probably just knowing Laura and kind of the way that we would function is that we probably wouldn't see that savings, which isn't a big deal because we're making money on child nutrition a little bit, but that money would be put back into better quality food for our kids. So even if we broke even, it's not really about saving the money. Even if we broke even, I think we would have better meals for our students for the same amount of money.
Do we have a comparison from our last year doing it ourselves to the average of the last 2 years?
So the last year that we did it ourselves, there was some inefficiencies that have been cleaned up since then. And so it would be comparing apples to oranges, to be honest with you. No pun.
I know shortly after we went with the contract, Lauren had to go and was our liaison, is that correct? And now she works for SFE.
Yes.
Is there any non-compete clauses that we gotta worry about losing? Because some of those people that work for FSE are our former employees, correct?
Correct. So that was one thing that Laura insisted whenever she took the job with SFE was that there not be a non-compete. And so they waived that whenever we brought them on, or whenever she went to them. And so that's not an issue.
What about the other employees?
As far as the cooks, we checked and they said, Laura said no, that there's not.
So Laura would be taking over the whole system, running
Yes.
the whole cafeteria program.
Which she kind of does now. I mean, she has a regional manager or something that covers the tri-state area or something similar. But as far as the operational piece of it, she does all the ordering, puts all the menus into the kind of the program. She does all of it.
So will we have that program to do the menus that they have, so when we come next year, we already have the menus planned, it's not gonna be, oh, wow, what we got?
That's correct. So we found a software that's similar to what they're using now, and it's really inexpensive. And we may have it in here, I'm not sure, but it was weirdly inexpensive, I think, for what it is. And so it allows her to track like price per meal, which is really what it comes down to. Is if we're gonna sell a meal for $3, but it costs us $5 to make it, that's not a good deal. So she's able to put in all of her inventory, what it costs for everything to be ordered, for everything to be made, and then she can know exactly what it's costing us per plate. So
They don't touch our student software, right? Like, what the software that we use with them, that doesn't touch how the students pay. Like, we collect money right then.
Correct.
Okay, so it wouldn't
Yes.
impact student payment portals or anything like that.
correct, it would be the same. And in fact, it may end up being better just because of the way that the software functions. It's a little more integrative into what we have, and so it may actually be better. My confidence lies in Laura and Monica and their ability to run that program, and their excitement about what they're wanting to do moving forward, where they're not restricted by SFE and by kind of the I don't know, whatever you call it, the regulations that they have.
Is there any equipment that we have leased through them or anything, or like everything is ours, that we own? They just kind of maintain it?
Correct. We'd have to buy maybe a computer, a couple laptops. That'd be it.
Nothing in the cafeteria is FSEs.
I'm not gonna say nothing.
Okay.
Nothing, like none of the big equipment,
Okay.
all of the coolers and heaters and, ovens,
Stoves.
warmers, all of that's ours. They had brought in maybe a couple of display racks, but I think those were even from like, from Frito-Lay, yeah, from like, some vendors. So it's not even SFEs, it was just from a vendor.
Okay, mentioned in the middle of this, the state required trainings. Are we confident that they can make those? Do we know all those that need to be done?
We do, yes, because she has to have all of that done anyway, just in the role that she's in.
As a matter of fact, she already had the dates for them and was asking if a few additional people could go with them to that training, so she's on top of it.
Do you have a concern with the switch?
None at all. I think it would be, again, my confidence lies in Laura, right? Whether we're with SFE or she's doing it on her own, or if we switch to Sodexo or some other group, I think it comes down to that person. She will make it work well.
Does Laura have a backup?
Monica. So, yeah, in which I think they work well together as a team. I think Monica's learning a lot of stuff, and that's
I just think about it,
valid
we're doing
point.
it because we trust Laura, and then Laura's like, oh, I won the lottery.
Right.
See you later later. Yeah.
Yeah, no, for sure. Which I think Monica could pick that up and go.
What about the other employees? Would they be willing to come? How many of them are still our former employees? Do you know?
So we have 4 child nutrition employees, if I'm understanding, if I remember, like 3 or 4, yeah, so 4. To be honest, right now is the first time this has been talked about out in the open. So our cooks probably don't know that this is happening, so, their idea was to have a conversation with them tomorrow about here's what we're doing, here's where we're going, and, kind of here's the transition plan.
Is the pay gonna change on them?
No, their pay will be the same. I think their pay structure will change because we are allowed, as a school, we're allowed to pay the 12 months, even though they worked the 10, we spread that out. So, it allows that. structural difference. And Caleb and Cindy would sit down with them and talk about, here's what it's gonna look like moving forward.
Is that an option, 10 months, or an option for 12, or
It would
we
be
require?
12 months.
It would be 12, it's not an option, okay.
Wes, to address your question, Laura and Monica both worked for us prior to the switch to SFE, and I think we would both agree that things that were going really well at child nutrition, Laura was in charge of a lot of those things. So she kind of knows what it's looked like, and Monica too, what it looks like before, what it's looked like now. I know they've learned a lot, they talked about that, so I agree. I think we have complete confidence in the two of them to do really good for our kids.
I want to go back to the question that Brent asked, you know, does it just expire? You said they were asking for renewal.
Correct.
Is there any kind of penalty and it does actually expire? Because I'll be honest, I think they've been totally classless in the way they handled us. And if there's no chance of a penalty, I'd just let it run out and let them. And maybe that's not the right thing to do, but that's my feeling.
Sure. I
So-
think the cleanest way, I think, would be to vote to not renew it. That allows us to give at least 30 days notice to them. It allows us to confidently move forward and not just say, well, this
It's
is finished down the road.
There's not a chance that in June they approve it, right?
Right.
I mean, so.
It's just a cleaner way of doing it. I agree, and sometimes I feel like just the cleanest way.
We're not doing it for them, we're doing it for our people.
Right, right.
So while I was in school here, there were cinnamon rolls that were really good. Can we bring those back?
There's
Can
a
we
good
bring those
chance.
back? Can we make Oologah great again?
Well, Laura said in that meeting, like, she knows as soon as that menu comes out, our kids don't like this.
Right.
So this gives her the freedom to go back to, like, our
Yes.
kids aren't gonna eat that.
And she still has the old recipes too.
Yes, she
which is
does.
Really nice.
Those cinnamon rolls?
Yes.
I'll put it on the list.
Can we know when they're being
Kellogg, they were on stone tablets when we went, okay? I guess that, you know, we are, May, and we're gonna be, the June meeting wouldn't be the next one. I mean, I would like to get the feeling of the cooks, you know, the worker bees, so to speak. But that's up to the board, but if we feel confident with our cooks and that they're gonna be good with it.
I would entertain action on item B.
I move that we don't approve the contract with Southwest Food Service Excellence LLC for the 25-26 school year.
Second.
Further discussion? To be clear, the motion is to not approve the contract. Vote, please.
Yes.
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 Item B. Item C, recommendation, consideration, action on approving a contract with Parent Square for various technology components for the 2025-2026 school year.
If you guys don't mind, I will let our amazing tech director
Amazing.
lead this conversation. So, a little background.
Oh, Lord.
This won't take me long. You've seen my presentation. We currently use Remind for our messaging services, right? So text messages, emails, you put them out in a group and they go to classes and teachers and all that kind of jazz. Parent Square bought Remind. Okay? Parent Square is making a big push to move people from Remind to Parent Square this year. So that tells me from previous experiences that Remind may not exist for much longer. At least it's definitely not going to be developed for much longer. So we started doing some research in what Parent Square offers. And when we sat down and started looking at it, currently right now, we pay about $10,000 for a third party to manage our web page for us, our website, or host that. We pay about $10,000 to Remind, and we pay about $5,000 to InTouch to do what would be receipting, taking payments, cash, all that kind of stuff. For Johnny wants to go on a field trip, whatever, it costs $5. We collect the cash, it goes to InTouch receipting, so that we have receipt for that, right? So
So in total, we're paying about $25,000 for those 3 separate items. Parent Square offers us web hosting, and then Parent Square itself, which does the mass notifications. And they also have Parent Square Pay now, where you will have, like, basically we would have one spot. It would be the website itself, everything would be within that. All the apps belong to that, so you can do receipting, web design, and mass notifications all from one platform. And that would cost us about $15,470. So that's a significant savings of about $9,500 a year to switch to Parent Square. And then do away with the 2 other vendors, and then what would be reminded is Parent Square now. So it's a significant savings for us. It'll have a $4,500 cost for us to onboard and all that kind of stuff for this year, but that'll go away, and then it'll be $15,470. After that,
So it'd be about 20,000 to start up.
yeah, it's be $19,970, somewhere in there. I think is what the contract is for, so yeah.
That will be able to be done over the summer, the onboarding?
Yes.
So first day of school?
Yes. Yes. And we've got, matter of fact, if you guys approve it tonight, I think we're gonna start as fast as we can within the next week or 2 before school's out and start transitioning. There's a lot of stuff we're gonna have to pull down from the old site and transfer over to what would be the new site.
You may not know this.
Yeah.
Some of our employees don't like change.
I know that. I know that.
Is there an approved list of vendors for that communication? Is that even a thing with the state, Dr. Morgan?
It's whatever you.
It's whatever you use.
Yes, whatever you put, because you currently have like Google Classroom. or
Right.
whatever. So you'll have to add that one probably.
That's what I remember, just having to
Yeah,
vote,
yes.
but the state doesn't give, hey, you can pick from these.
No. And there are a lot of schools right now that use Parent Square.
Have you talked to anybody, I mean, if you haven't, but you know anybody off the top of your head that has?
I don't, there's a whole list of them. I haven't specifically, I've seen emails talking
Sure.
about them, but I've not really called any of them. I mean, they bought it, you know.
Okay.
It's basically the same thing.
So you see any issues with them changing from Remind to Parent Square? There's nothing.
No. You're right, though, Remind will most likely be phased out. I
They're
mean, you're
gonna
not gonna get
obsolete it,
support,
yeah.
you're not gonna get support, so.
Correct.
Have you seen it, Parent Square?
Yes. It
How
looks
hard-
very similar.
So maybe easy for teachers to adapt? Easier?
Well, one of the things it does do is allows you to break, like right now, like if you go look at Remind, like you're either a user or you're a teacher, and like, there's no kind of in between. And so within Parent Square, you can create roles, so you can add more, like you might have a teacher and a parent, and you can add different roles in there, so it's a little more flexible in how it works, but.
So our teacher, like if our teacher's also a parent, she doesn't have to have 3 different logins to check Remind for her kid and her students.
Yes.
I would entertain action on item C.
Move a motion to approve the contract with Parent Square for various technology components for 2025 and 2026 school year.
Second.
Discussion? Thank you, Rick. Vote please.
Yes.
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 Yes?
Yes.
Hey, Rick, thank you. Thanks for doing that work on that. So, awesome. Item D, recommendation, consideration, action on approving a contract with Frontline Education for absence and time solutions for the 2025-2026 school year.
This is the software we use to manage our absences for our teachers, or our faculty and staff. It's the same program that we've used for several years. It works really well. Recommendation is that we approve.
Okay, entertain action on item D.
I move that we approve the contract with Frontline Education for the absence and time solution for the 25-26 school year.
Second.
Further discussion? Vote please.
Yes.
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 Item D is approved. Item E, recommendation, consideration, and action on approving a service agreement between Oologah-Talala Public Schools
and the Oklahoma Secondary School Board Association for the OSSBA Employment Service Program for 2025-2026 school year.
Yeah, so we've, again, we've used the OSSBA for our employment matters, for the past several years. They do a great job. Anytime we have, someone that quits or is let go, when they apply for unemployment, any of those issues, they deal with them, make sure that they're valid, that whatever the former employee is turning in is correct information. So it's their attorneys, they work on our behalf. They do a great job. Recommendation is that we approve.
Move to approve, item E, service agreement between Oologah-Talala Public Schools and OSSBA for the Employment Services Program in 2025-2026.
Second.
Further discussion? Hearing none, vote please.
Yes.
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 Sorry.
Yes.
Item E is approved. Item F, recommendation, consideration, action on approving the following new activity fund sub-account, summer swim, number 804.
Yes, you guys can you can read on the, request for the account, the purpose is deposit funds from swim lessons, daily and family swim passes. Just a way to move that money, into an account, so that way, or into a fund, into an account, so we can pay the people that work our summer swim stuff. Recommendation is we approve.
Action on item F.
Move a motion to approve the following activity fund sub-account summer swim number 804.
Second.
Wow. Who'd you pick?
Oh.
Further discussion? Vote please.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes?
Yes.
Item F is approved. Item G, recommendation, consideration, action on approving a MOU with Tulsa Community College for dual credit classes.
So, again, it's a contract that we approve every year with Tulsa Community College. Our students are able then to go to get dual credit, get college credit and high school credit for those classes, which I love. I love that our kids are able to do that. I think a lot of those classes we're able to take here on campus, virtually, and it's a good program.
Do we have any others with any other schools? Colleges?
We do some stuff through Northeast Tech, but I don't know if it's dual credit. I'd have to look and see, but outside of that, I don't think so.
Do we not do Rogers State?
No, I don't
Do
know
we?
Rogers State.
Do Rogers State?
This is the only, contract that we have. I think we have two students that go outside and get something on their end as far as the contract with us, or an MOU.
Okay.
But they get dual credit, even if they go out and do it on their own?
That would be a question probably.
So if a student goes out and does dual credit at RSU on their own, are they still getting the dual credit here? Okay. I just want them to get credit, and it's hard work. And we'll honor it here. Okay.
As a matter of fact, OU and OSU are offering, senior courses that kids can look at too, which is great. That's where they want to shoot outside of it.
OSU has actually started something new where they are not only, where the tuition's not only covered, but they're covered fees also.
Oh, wow. Action on item G, please.
Move that we approve an MOU with Tulsa Community College for the dual credit classes.
Second.
Further discussion? Vote please.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Item G is approved. Item H, recommendation, consideration, action on appointing a representative to serve as the Oologah-Talala Public School representative to the City of Claremore Economic Development Project Tax Increment Financing, TIF, and Tax Increment District TID Committee.
Hang on, let me see if so we met with, the Claremore, city manager, and then, their industrial park people. they shared some information that's not yet public. And so what they are requesting is that any of the areas or surrounding Claremore have a representative for this committee. So that way they can make some decisions and move forward on some projects. That's about all the information I can get. So, it was a toss-up between me and Mrs. Atkins, on who's gonna be on this committee, but I would recommend, that I will be on the committee, so that way Ms. Atkins doesn't have to deal with that. So, that would be my recommendation.
Action on item H.
Doesn't the area have to be specified before? Because if we don't draw money from there, we don't have to be there. Does the area not have to be specified that it's in our district?
So in that discussion, it is partially in our district.
Okay. Move to approve Dr. Wilkins as our liaison to the TIF district.
Second.
Further discussion? Vote please.
Yes.
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 Yes?
Yes.
Item H is approved. Item I, recommendation, consideration, action on approving the opening of an account with Gateway Bank for the purpose of investing funds. The proceeds of these investments will be deposited into Oologah-Talala Public School General Fund and used for general operation.
So Mr. Otfeld and I met with some representatives from Gateway Bank. They, just about where we invest our money, so we have quite a bit of money right now in that OLAP account. Had some guys approach us, and so in that conversation, Gateway has said that they can beat the OLAP interest rates on any given month. And so kind of what Caleb and I kind of talked about was that we take an amount and maybe we split a 50-50 on where we have with our OLAP and push some of that over into Gateway. The rules for investing there are exactly the same as OLAP in that within 24 hours, we can pull our money, push our money with no penalty. And they say that their percentage return on their investment is always better than our OLAP account. So I think it's worth giving it a shot to see if it's a no risk. So it's not like we could lose the money. It would just be a matter of, is their percentage as good as what we're getting with OLAP? And they say that they are. So I think it's worth a shot. We push some of our money over into that. We could split it maybe 50-50 or 75-25 or whatever, and kind of see what kind of investment rates they have, and it may be a way just to push our money a little better.
Do you all know any districts that are using them?
Bartlesville is, there's a couple other I can't remember. I just know that Bartlesville is when I've checked up there.
Did you ask him any thoughts on that?
Yeah, it's good, and I know the guy
It's one thing to go
actually-
sign up for a new deal, so somebody's
Right.
starting, and in 2 years I'm out.
Right.
It's like our food services, you know what I'm saying, so.
Correct. And if it's something where we get there and the investment's not where we think it should be, we'll just push our money back over to the lab and move on.
But they all set up Tulsa.
I know they have a Bartlesville location, and they have, is it Collinsville?
Oh, okay.
I don't know, it seems like it wasn't all the way in Tulsa.
Are they involved in those communities, you know what I'm saying, like
So that was some of the conversations that we had, that we've had.
speaking from St. Speed's perspective, it's great when your local banks are involved in your chambers and your community projects and stuff like that, and so, but that conversation was had at Gateway.
Yes.
Good. Any other questions? I would entertain action on item I.
Move to approve opening an account with Gateway Bank for the purpose of investing funds for our Oologah-Talala Public School General Fund.
Second.
Further discussion? Vote please.
Yes.
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 Yes?
Yes.
Item I is approved. Item J, recommendation, consideration, action on granting non-district administrative rights and the branch management system, the GMS, on the Oklahoma State Department of Education single sign-on to Barlow Educational Services Representative Wayne Beam. Said non-district administrative rights authorize the Barlow Educational Service Representative full access to enter and submit application forms, claims on behalf applications, forms, and claims on behalf of the district in consultation with the district superintendent.
So this is something new, single sign-on, which is where we go to log in to the State Department of Education's website, and where Ms. Atkins does all of our federal programs is all through single sign-on. Well, they've changed single sign-on. Used to it was just a login and password. Now they do a third-party authentication, and so because of that, we have to, and since we do have a contract with Barlow Education Services, so Barlow Education Services helps us with our federal programs. They make sure that everything's in compliance because of all the federal regulations. So what this does, and since they're not an employee of Oologah Schools, this gives them the rights to log in and to work on the backside to help Ms. Atkins with all of our federal program stuff. And so, again, it's a well-established, Wayne Beam, we've worked with them for years. They're educators, they have access to all of our federal program stuff now. But with the third-party authentication, we have to, at the board level, give them rights to access that the way it's being done.
I would entertain action on item J.
Is this really just to make your job easier? There's no cost to this. They have access to this stuff, and now they can enter that stuff where we don't have to?
So they've had this level of access already. It's just that the way that we log into the single sign-on now is changing. And so instead of them just having a login and password, they have to do the third-party authentication. And that has to be, for us to allow them to do that, we have to approve this at this level. We've always approved a contract with them. We pay them, I don't know, it's $5,000 a year to help do the work. But this is just giving them permission to access our stuff.
This is keeping up with their regulations, nothing.
With the State Department's regulations, yes. It doesn't change functionally how we do anything. Recommendation is that we approve.
Move to grant, move to approve item J, granting non-district administrative rights to the grants management system.
Second.
Further discussion? Vote please.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Item J is approved. Item K is recommendation, consideration, action on approving a contract with CRW Consulting for E-Rate Services LLC program year 2026.
So CRW, they do all of our work for our E-Rate. They're a consultant. E-Rate is their specialty. So this is actually for work that will be done a year and a half from now, but it gives them the next year to do all the paperwork and to put everything in, so that way that work can be done a year and a half from now. So, we do this every year for them, but they stay a year out ahead of us to make sure everything's done, on time. So recommendation is that we approve.
Action on item K.
Move to approve item K, contract with CRW Consulting for E-Rate Services for 2026.
Second.
Further discussion? Vote please.
Yes.
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 Item K is approved. Section 5 is personnel. Item A is a proposed executive session to discuss resignations, hiring of personnel, and/or extra duty assignments pursuant to 25 OS Section 307B1 and 7 of the Open Meeting Law. Items to be discussed are the resignations of Kelsey Weingant, Darcy Buck, Sharon Hudson, Kevin Adler, hiring a high school assistant principal, Oologah Lower Elementary PK teacher on a temporary contract, Oologah Upper Elementary teacher on a temporary contract, 3rd and 4th grade. Item B is a motion to convene into executive session.
Move to convene executive session.
Second.
Vote please.
Yes.
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 The record show. We're in executive session. Item C is acknowledge the board has returned to open session. Item D is statement of board president of executive session minute compliance. While we're in executive session, Lyle Blakely, Lauren Stoffer, Wes Jordan, Brent Kellogg, and Joe Coster met for a period by themselves, and we were joined with Dr. David Wilkins and Assistant Superintendent Kendra Adkins. Item E, vote to accept or not accept submitted resignations as listed below. Kelsey Wygant, Oologah Lower Elementary teacher, effective end of 2024-2025 school year. Darcy Buck, Oologah Upper Elementary teacher, effective end of 2024-2025 school year. Sharon Hudson, high school BITS teacher, effective end of 2024-2025 school year. Kevin Adler, high school teacher coach, effective end of 2024-2025 school year. Entertain action on item E.
Move to accept the resignations listed on item E.
Second.
Have to read them out.
Vote please.
Yes.
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 Item E is approved. Item F, motion to vote to employ or not employ recommended applicants for the positions listed below. High school assistant principal for the 2025-2026 school year, for the pre-K teacher at the lower elementary on temporary contract for the 2025-2026 school year, fourth grade teacher at the upper elementary on a temporary contract for the 2025-2026 school year, and third grade teacher at the upper elementary on a temporary contract for the 2025-2026 school year.
Recommendation is Holly Jernigan for high school assistant principal, pre-K teacher at lower elementary on temporary contract with Bailey Davis, fourth grade teacher at the upper elementary on temporary contract would be Jocelyn Powell, third grade teacher at the upper elementary on temporary contract would be Kimberly Loeb.
Would entertain action on item F.
I move that we hire the following high school assistant principal for the 25-26 school year: Holly Jernigan, pre-K teacher at OLE on a temporary contract, Bailey Davis, fourth grade teacher at OUE on the temporary contract, Jocelyn Powell, even though her dad is Robert Powell.
Yeah.
Oh, this is being recorded. Oh, bummer. Third grade teacher at OUE on a temporary contract, Kimberly Loeb.
Second.
Vote please.
Yes.
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 Entertain a motion to adjourn.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
Vote please.
Yes.
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 We're adjourned.